Hi everyone, welcome to another Escapement show. Hope you all had a great Christmas. And you'll have noticed that it's a Friday we're having the show on, and not Saturday, not New Year's Eve. So we're avoiding all the drunkenness that we're going to be in, and we're bringing you a more toned down show rather than a party show, but we want to make it a bit of a party. We want to make a bit of a party of it. So if you want to say anything in the comments or bring anything up, please do. Yeah, good to see you, Tom. Yeah, it's been a long time. Nice to see you in the chat.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Yep. And if it's late night where you are as well, join us for a drink. It's about 10:30 here in Melbourne, so I'm having a red wine as usual.
Yeah, just like to welcome JCB and Jonathan on my left. Yeah, welcome, Jonathan. Good to see you.
Hey, hello. So JCB, you're in Melbourne, correctly?
I mean, it's Melbourne, Australia. Yes.
Yeah, I was hoping that you're in Brisbane to join the bluesy club that is just being founded, and
the bluesy club. No, I'm not. I actually did live in Brisbane for a couple of years back in 2012 to 2014. I was up there, and it's actually. I mean, look, it's a shithole. Let's be honest. It's there's not really much. There's not much going on up there, but the weather is really good. The weather is great up there.
Yeah,
it suits me. It's really nice and warm, tropical, and so on. So, look, maybe I might get back there one day, but it's probably not looking likely, Jonathan. Yeah, but
is it too lengthy that you explain us why it is a shithole in your opinion?
In my opinion, so just culturally, it's a little bit backwards. I would say, like it's what's the word? It's known as sort of being a bit of a redneck type of town, if you like.
Okay.
Not much cultural diversity up there. And even things like, the restaurants and the bar scene, it's not quite, it's sort of a fair way behind, Melbourne or Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live there and you grew up there, fine, no problem. But if you're from a major city in Australia and you go up there to live for work or whatever, you'll probably struggle a little bit because it doesn't quite have the nightlife and not that I go out and party or whatever, but just to go out to a nice restaurant and have that variety of what you would have in Melbourne and Sydney. It's sort of a little bit backwards. But having said that, the plus is the weather and the natural environment up there. You can go out of Brisbane, a couple of hours drive, and you've got the most beautiful beaches in the world. You've got rainforests. You've got a whole ton of, natural beauty up there.
Wow.
So it's got a lot going for it in that regard. So, yeah, look, I mean, I bag it out sort of tongue in cheek, I suppose. There's got, it's okay.
I was
saying, what about Darwin?
Darwin. I've actually never been to Darwin, so I can't.
Slippery slope.
I can't speak about Darwin, but I know there's. I know a friend of the channel is based up in Darwin, so look, I'm not qualified to speak about Darwin.
Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid after those non-flattering comments about Brisbane that the Escapement show and we three are now off Pontiff's Christmas card gift list. So. Yeah.
I think we already were anyway, weren't we? Like,
okay. We're the outlaws here.
Well, I think Archie himself bags out Brisbane anyway, so I don't think I'm speaking out of line anyway, really. But look, having said all that, the weather is a really big draw card for Brisbane, and I actually wouldn't mind moving back up there purely because the weather is so bloody good. It's really nice and warm. Like in winter, like the coldest it gets is about 17, 18 degrees during the day. Okay,
Wow.
so Celsius. At night time, it might get to about 10 degrees or something, 9, 10 degrees at night time. So, if you like warm weather, it's the place to be, definitely. I don't mind it at all. Yeah, but I don't know. What about have you guys been to Australia at all?
Never been myself. No. It's a very popular destination with English people. I mean, it's their sort of gap year when they're at university. They take a year out and they go to do the Australia thing, go traveling, and do the Bali and Australia and Thailand and all that sort of thing. And it's really popular with the Brits. Yeah, they love it.
How about you, John? Have you been down under?
I've been there 3 times, but always at the end of a long cruise from Hawaii. Mrs. Higgins and me, we enjoy cruising, and there is a so-called repositioning cruise at the end of the year. So basically, when the Hawaiian season is ending in October, late October, the cruise ships are being moved over to Australia. And on such a so-called repositioning cruise, we've been now 3 times because we love being on the ship for 19 days, and the ship stops in our favorite destinations: Tahiti, Bora Bora, Moorea, and then New Zealand, and then Sydney. So very beautiful itinerary. The problem is always when you arrive in Sydney, you already have 3 weeks of vacation, because it takes some time to go to Hawaii. Then you're staying there for 2 nights or 3 nights. Then you have 19 nights of cruising. It's time to go back sooner than later. So we always stayed then around Sydney and didn't move further through Australia after those long vacations.
Nice. Look, if you're gonna go to one place in Australia, Sydney is probably the place to go. I reckon it's got everything that you want. Like, it's the major city in Australia, and the weather's bloody good in Sydney as well. So it's sort of the place to be, really.
Yeah, it's a very interesting contrast for somebody coming from Europe or even from the US. When you're in Australia for the first time, it's really mind-blowing how friendly the people are. Also in Sydney, I know that people are saying people in Sydney are not the friendliest in Australia, but it's really almost shocking how nice people approach you when you're talking to them on the street. So that was very impressive to me, even though coming from very friendly places like Polynesia. The French Polynesian are very genuinely nice people. The Hawaiian people are very nice, and Americans usually are very polite. But it's really another step up when you enter Sydney.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say hello to a few of the people in the chat. We've got Tom Austin, Tom A, Loose Tooth, good to see you. Kevin Hawthorne, good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Good morning. Jay Grace, that's a stalwart of the streams. And Nick C, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. And
morning, evening.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that it was a bit of a hasty organisation for this show, and I went a bit overboard with the amount of watches that I selected. I'd ended up getting a lot of watches, so I think we might do part 2 of this topic, and just work our way slowly through half of the watches that I've selected. So we're going to start with Jonathan. And Jonathan, you want to explain a bit about our different type of coatings? We've got so many blacked out watches of so many coatings. We've got PVD, we've got DLC, we've got carbon, we've got ceramic. So PVD, what's that one?
So PVD is an abbreviation of physical vapor deposition. So what usually happens is the pieces that should be coated with PVD are put in a big kind of reactor, and as far as I know, they are charged negatively, and then some how do you say? There is then some powder deposited, and that powder is then attracted by those metal parts. So the powder is then flying on the surface, and it's baked at a higher temperature, and that is the technology of physical vapor deposition. So you deposit vapor on the items that you want to coat, and you can make that in black. But popular PVD coating became with little gold powder. So it became an alternative to galvanic gold plating, because galvanic gold plating requires those big pools where the gold is dissolved in, and you don't need those big pools and that preparation. You just put it in the reactor and coat it with PVD. It's much easier, and it's said to be more durable than traditional gold plating.
Right. So DLC, that one, diamond
like carbon.
Diamond like carbon. Yeah.
Yes. So yes. So diamond like carbon DLC is a kind of PVD, because the process is like PVD. So carbon powder is being deposited on the surface, and then it's baked to very high temperature. So you have carbon powder, and a diamond consists of carbon, and a diamond is being formed out of carbon with high pressure and high temperature, and then you get a diamond. And that diamond like carbon, the trick is it is deposited via PVD, and then it's baked with a very high temperature, so that this carbon becomes like an artificially made diamond. So it's said to be very rough and tough.
I got some notes on
PVD. Sorry, Thomas. I was just going to say.
Carry on.
Yeah. So another thing, and so Jonathan was mentioning the carbon is the base material that you use in DLC, and in PVD, I think the base material is chromium carbide is the main material that you use. So you vaporize the chromium carbide, and that's what you bake onto your surface metal. DLC, same sort of thing as Jonathan was saying, but the base material is carbon. And the carbon, from what I understand, there's different types there's like different grades of DLC, depending on how the carbon linkage is put together on the base metal. So you know how you can have like different chemical structures, like hexagonal rings and octagonal rings and that sort of stuff. Like depending on the type of ring structure the carbon makes when it gets baked on, that is like the different grade of DLC, if you like. So there's sort of cheap DLC, and there's expensive DLC and stuff in the middle. So there's different grades of DLC as well. So just something to keep in mind.
I mean, we've got one watch here, which is the Porsche Design watch, and is this DLC or is this a PVD?
None of it, unfortunately. So this is the first watch that has been totally blackened out. Black case, black bracelet. That is the first one, and that has been introduced in 1972. So 50 years ago, precisely. And back then, none of those fancy technologies have been developed. So you couldn't chromium plate in black. You couldn't PVD. You couldn't put carbon particles on this. So it was a kind of powder coating, but at a very early stage. It was a little bit tougher than putting normal paint on it. It was a kind of powder coating, but it was not really durable. And that was the issue for many years. If you see that watch, this particular watch, it's 50 years old, and you can see how this coating has been worn off. And that was for many years the biggest issues with blackened out watches, and nobody really had a solution for that.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, you can see it's really flaked off, hasn't it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was reading, I got from the Panerai site that ceramic is a excuse me, as zirconium oxide, which begins as a powder that is pressed to give the watch extreme hardness, superseding that of stainless steel by 5 times. And of course, carbon is layers of carbon, isn't it? That are pressed together under heat.
Yep.
So
I think what you've just touched on something that's really important there, Thomas, which is that when we're talking about PVD and DLC, we're talking about a surface treatment of the underlying. Yeah, it's a coating of the stainless steel or whatever metal it is underneath. Whereas then you step up into ceramic and carbon, and you're talking about an actual material which is black, like the actual.
absolutely.
If you could scratch it, it would still be black underneath. There's no coating. That's the material. So, that's sort of the key difference in my mind is when you're talking about PVD and DLC. It's always just going to be a coating. It's prone to scratch, and then you're paying for the ceramic. You're paying for the carbon, which is the material. Carbon is the strongest as far as I'm concerned. It's much more stronger than ceramic, like way more stronger than ceramic. You could drive over a carbon watch and it would stand up. You could shoot a fucking bullet through the thing and it'd probably still stand up. Whereas ceramic, very much scratch resistant, but it's brittle. It can crack. You drop it, it'll break. So it's the different materials, obviously, and with different properties.
So this is the first ceramic watch, from my knowledge, that has been introduced. That was the IWC Da Vinci, which was usually made in with a gold case, and they were experimenting at a very early stage with ceramics. And that was the first commercial product that I became aware. Probably there were some other companies being first, but that was the first one on a true luxury watch to be introduced.
Interesting.
Wow. Sorry, whenabouts was that?
I think beginning of the 1990s, mid 1990s. Yeah.
But let's say morning to Patrick. Morning, Pocket Watch time. Good to see you in the house.
But I think it's important to repeat. So PVD and DLC are coatings. So the base material is a kind of metal, be it steel, be it titanium, be it brass, and then you put a coating on. And unfortunately, no matter how good your coating is, it may wear off depending on the circumstances. Now, when we are talking about carbon fiber watches or ceramic watches, those usually don't wear off. So the black color doesn't wear off because the material itself is black. And that is a big difference, game changer. But just like JCB said, ceramic always had the problem that it's ceramic, and ceramic is brittle and is prone to break. And if you Google broken ceramic cases in watches, you will see some magnificent examples of lugs being cracked off. I'm just trying to find something. Or are you doing, Thomas?
Yeah, one that sticks in my mind was a Dark Side of the Moon. I think it was Omega, which was obviously the ceramic case. And I remember seeing on a forum ages ago the whole lug for being broken off.
Yeah.
On that one. There you go. There it is. That's the one. There you go.
Yeah,
that's fucked. I mean, the watch is so you're fucked. You need a new case now.
Yeah, you need a new case because nobody can repair that or nobody can glue that.
Ceramic is hard to scratch, isn't it? It's hard to scratch, but it's brittle.
Yes, it is hard to scratch, but it's not impossible to scratch. Unfortunately, I have an IWC ceramic watch, and when you get it in touch with metal, it gets those silverish marks, and you have to brush those off, and it's not very easy to get them off. So yeah, so there are some nice example of broken lugs and stuff like that on ceramic watches. For the benefit of those watchmakers, it doesn't happen very often. So even though they have been abused a lot, the cases of those catastrophical failures are really low compared to what you would expect. So this is not like 5% of ceramic cased watches end like that. Those cases are very rare, but they happen.
Yeah, sure.
So would it be like, Jonathan, do you reckon dropping it from, say, like if you're just standing up handling the watch, you drop it on the floor and it probably needs to hit at a certain angle or something like that? Something like, I mean, like, I'm just trying to think, because I'm thinking about getting a ceramic watch, and I'm thinking, like, I've never dropped a watch that, touch wood, but you buy a ceramic watch, you're probably going to fucking drop the thing, right? First thing that happens would probably be maybe.
That is my first option on my ceramic IWC was to use a deployant buckle, because in my opinion, if you have a deployant buckle, the chances that you drop it on the bathroom floor are less than if you have a normal standard tang buckle.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's harder to take off the wrist.
Yeah. You just got to be careful. And,
and you have to understand there is a three-dimensional structure in ceramic. So if you hit the right angle, it may crack. If you don't hit the right angle, it may be unharmed. So yeah, it is a kind of Russian roulette a little bit if you drop it.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with some watches then. We'll just take a look at some pieces that we've got up. And start with some budget watches that are DLC coated. We've got the Seiko Prospex. This is the SNE 587P1. £550, black series solar diver. This is solar powered, 965 reinterpretation, PVD coated, and it's a solar powered. It's £550. You can get into a DLC watch, PVD. Sorry, quite a nice looking watch.
You know what, Thomas? Man, I've been in a Seiko rabbit hole for the last couple of weeks, looking at vintage chronograph, old chronographs, right? And on I've just been looking at watches, Seiko watches. There's so many Seikos that are blacked out.
Really?
Yeah, fuck. There's heaps, man. There's heaps. We could do seriously 2 whole shows just on Seiko, blacked out watches. So I mean, like this. What I'm just saying to the punters out there, you can like this is one example. If you wanna if you're into Seiko, you can go nuts and you can really go down a rabbit hole and have a.
Yeah, you can see the clasp and everything. I mean, I can imagine there's tons of Seiko black tie watches. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm wondering if any of our viewers has a blackened out Seiko and how durable that coating is, because I don't have any first-hand experience, and I would be curious if Seikos are particularly tough and rough in that kind of coating, or if it's problematic.
Good point. Yeah. So that's the Seiko. And move on to another budget watch, which is the a Glycine, which is quite a nice looking watch. I like the layout of the 369 on it. It's Glycine Combat Sub. This one, a 2020 release. It says it's a. I don't know whether this is PVD. It says it's a PVD DLC coating, so I don't know whether they're mixing the two. It's 200 meter water resistant, Glycine GL224 automatic movement, 38 hours power reserve. This one comes in at 476 new old stock, £476 new old stock. I think this is a much nicer watch than the solar powered Seiko.
Is this a 30? Not. This is a 42, I think, isn't it, Thomas?
I believe so. I can check.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So the Glycine recently came out with that's a 42.
Yeah, 42.
So that they upgraded the Combat Sub maybe like a year ago, but it's a 39 now. So it's a Combat Sub 39. And it's got some pretty cool upgrades, like it's got applied indices and the bezel's a little bit better. Like that's just sort of upgraded the watch. So have a look at the Combat Sub 39 as well. I think that's a good option.
What I like here about this particular watch is the date. It's a little bit unusual. Not sure how the non-date people are thinking about that.
Yeah, that is a funny date. I actually, when I've got a couple of black watches, and I was just to do it on the cheap, I actually picked up a Combat Sub as well, the 42. Really, the thing is about Glycine Combat Subs is that there's a color combo. There's a configuration for everyone. They do a whole ton of different configurations, so you can really just go down that rabbit hole. Cheap, cheerful, does a job. It's Swiss made, Swiss movement. You're getting good value, I think. I don't know about you guys, but I think the Combat Sub is one of the most underrated, like, budget watches out there. Like,
I've got a bronze one myself. Yeah, I think they're great watches, lovely watches. Yeah, really, they're great value, and
if you're on a budget, definitely worth looking at this one.
JCB.
And even just to pick up something for fun, like if you like we're talking about black watches, if you want to experiment and you're not too sure how it's going to look or how you feel about it, just pick up one of these. There's a couple of $100. Like you can get them, maybe not a couple of hundred, maybe a couple of $100 US. I reckon would get you into one of these. And good watch. You won't regret it. Really cool piece.
Really bad. Just saying, he had the BFK, the big freaking kinetic once in PVD black, and it felt cheap and customized like a boy racer car. Horrid. So I take it that was a Seiko.
Yep.
Yeah.
So JCB, how is the coating holding up on that Glycine?
Yeah, it's actually really good. Look, to be truthful, I've only worn this watch, I would say, I've had it for about two years. I've worn it maybe a dozen or so times, and it's held up really well. There's nothing has come off it. It's actually not bad at all. Like this watch just looks like the day it came out of the box, really. Like you can see it.
Oops.
Oops, wrong button.
Get into focus. So this one's a pretty funky sort of one here. It's got a denim blue, like a navy blue dial, navy blue bezel, and it's all blacked out. So yeah, you can see it's like there's nothing,
Can you see the buckle? Because usually on the buckle you can see the first wear marks. Oh, looks good.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, look, I don't desk dive this. I just wear this occasionally on the weekend, or if I'm going out on a holiday or vacation or something. So, as I said, I've only worn about a dozen or so times over the last couple of years, and even with jackets, that sort of thing, like rubbing up on jackets or clothes. It's the coating has stayed, really really nice. It's actually
Nice.
I'm really impressed with this watch for the money. Like a couple of $100, and you're getting this pretty cool watch, nice and thin as well. I think it's about 11.3 or 11.5 or something. So it just wears really well. Really cool, fun watch. Cheap and doesn't look too shabby either. So yeah, cool. As I said before, like you can go down this glycine rabbit hole. They've got heaps of different color combinations, and there's a dial and bezel combination to suit whatever taste that you have. And yeah, the upgrades with the 39. Check out the new 39 as well. Cool piece, I reckon.
Now, here's one you suggested, JCB. This is a Tag Heuer Solar.
Yeah, so this has just come out just recently. I didn't know anything.
Solar Acrorace, a Solargraph. It's £2,550, DLC coated. Uses a TH550 caliber, which charges from sunlight or artificial light. It's
yeah, pretty cool. And the bezel, I'm pretty sure the bezel is like is carbon as well.
Yeah, I think it's carbon fiber.
Yeah.
So a pretty cool piece from Tag Heuer, I've got to say. I like it a lot. A mate of mine just picked it up. That's how I knew about it. And he showed me some video. I haven't seen it in person yet, but really cool looking piece. Really cool.
And the bezel is taking the majority of hits, and that is carbon, which doesn't flake off. So it's quite intelligently chosen, the material mix, because that is so exposed that it protects the case from flaking off.
Yeah, it's cool, and I think there's something to be said about having like solar and quartz watches. It's good to have one or two in your collection because you can just pick it up and go. Like you don't have to worry about winding it, setting the date. Like it's always ready to go.
I agree. I've got a solar powered watch, and once it's charged for about 6 months.
Yeah, usually when you have a quartz watch in your drawer, and when you pull it out, the battery is empty. So the first line of action is then to go to your watchmaker and get a new battery installed. That doesn't happen with the solar watches.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the specs on the thing, like how long you have to keep it, under the light to get a full charge and all that sort of stuff. But I imagine, as you're saying, Thomas, once you got a full charge, you could probably keep it in your watch box for a couple of months, and it'll be ready to go. I would have thought.
Definitely.
I think the recent solar powered watches also have a standby function. So if they don't catch any light, the movement stops working to preserve some energy. I have a Seiko H558 with a solar powered quartz movement, and that stops when you put it in the dark
Right.
for a longer period of time.
Like pull up the Chili Badgers comment there, Thomas. The last one there.
If you live in the UK, we're in the dark 6 months of the year, so you'll push the solar function. Too true, Chili. Too true. We are in the dark. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I'll get a bit of a contentious brand that people diss a lot next coming up.
I'm just going to guess. Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Bremont. Yeah, you didn't like that, did you, Jonathan?
No.
The Alt One P2 Jet. £4,495. That's $4.5 for this one. DLC coated steel, black rotor to continue the stealth of the aesthetics. So it's got a black rotor in the back. So they've even continued the theme of blacked out watches with a rotor in the back. Yeah, not everyone's cup of tea, Bremont. A bit overpriced. Quite overpriced. Could be half the price. But
I'd rather pay on top and get an IWC Pilot Chrono in ceramic.
Yeah, definitely. Shall I take it off the screen?
Yeah,
yes,
please.
This is not an ugly watch, but I don't like the shenanigans that Bremont are constantly pulling. And there used to be a scandal where they claimed a movement to be in-house, and then it turned out it isn't. Now they made their new in-house movement with a big fanfare, and they had to admit that they couldn't do it. And now they claim that 80% of the weight of the movement is in-house, which basically says they're making the main plate and 5 bridges in-house, because those are carrying most of the weight, and the rest is then supplied by others.
Now this next one I really like, because this is the Breitling Avenger automatic. This is a night mission. This is a Seawolf version, which is quite nice.
When are you going to buy it, Thomas? You've been talking about this watch for fucking years, man.
Very blacked out one, but I got onto this watch.
Is that ceramic? Or is that coated?
DLC coated this one. £4,000. But I first got onto this watch with this one.
That's the one that you love. Yeah, that's the one. I remember that.
This is a GMT. Now, Pete McConville from Not So Obvious Watches has got one of these. And every time I see the opening to one of Pete McConville's videos, he shows this. And I always look at it and I think it's gorgeous. The numerals are taken from the deck of an aircraft carrier. They're taken from the font of a deck of an aircraft carrier. And I just think those numerals there are really, really nice. And as a GMT watch, it just ticks all the boxes for me, this one. I'd love to get one of these.
Do you have an issue with the fake patina?
No, I like the faux patina. I quite like it. It
I think it's so beautiful on this watch.
Yeah, it highlights numbers really well, I think. Highlights numerals really well.
But is the lum pip on the bezel, is that also patinated, or is that bright? That would be a big oopsie.
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, Jonathan.
No, it's patinated. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's give a shout out to Bill, Flippin, and Jamie, who have joined us. Cheers, boys.
Ooh. Yeah, hi Bill. Good to see you. Flipping Zippo, good to see you as always, my friend. And Jamie.
Jamie, what are you doing on this day? You should be spending the time with your family.
Wonderful watch, people. Yeah, so this has always been a big favourite of mine, this Breitling night mission.
Yeah.
And you're a big Breitling fan yourself, aren't you, JCB?
Yeah, I am. But I've got to admit, this watch doesn't quite do it for me. It's just it's a bit too sort of.
It's not a chronograph.
No, I like you. I think you might be showing another Breitling at some point, which is the aerospace Evo, which is the blacked out one. I like that one. This one I think it's a 45 mil. It's a bit too chunky. It's a bit too sort of macho for me. This piece, so I just find it's not really my style. But if you're into that military sort of vibe, then sure. But yeah, it's not really my cup of tea, this one.
Can you pull that 45 millimeter off, Thomas?
Yeah, I wear a Panerai, which I really enjoy. Okay. That's 44 millimeters, and yeah, just I quite like big watches. Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers the numbers are a funny thing. Like I tried on a Navitimer 46 a couple of months ago, and yeah, look, it was big, but it didn't feel like it was too big, if that makes sense. Like you would think just automatically in your head, 46 is going to be way too big, but you know, with it sort of depends on the watch. If the lug to lug's a bit smaller, and this one being blacked out probably would shrink it down a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Like it just sort of feel, you got to just try the thing on and see how it feels. I think with numbers, like a 45 might be okay. Just sort of depends on.
Jamie, can you do a British accent for me? That's an Erin. That's an Erin. That's an Erin thing, isn't it? Okay, you might not be up to speed on that joke, JCB.
Yeah, not quite getting that one, but it's okay.
It's a bit of a running joke.
Sounds like we've got to get Jamie on to do this accent now, because I've got to hear it, I reckon, so I can get in on the
gag. Right, another one, a Cartier. Now, this is Cartier doing their thing. They're ADLC, they call this. I don't know what the difference between DLC and ADLC is. This is a Cartier Santos, the Cartier large model. Rubber and leather straps with a quick switch interchangeability. It's quite a nice one, this one.
Yeah, I can get down with that. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I like it.
I did see one for you, JCB, which is also DLC, but it's £26,000.
Oh, skeleton version. Oh, yeah, cool.
So, Thomas, I was just doing a quick Bobby Google. ADLC is an acronym for amorphous diamond-like coating.
Ah. So is that stronger, or is that
that I couldn't find out in in the short time. I think it's a little bit softer. It looks a little bit more silky than a normal diamond-like coating, but that may just be a guess.
Amorphous diamond-like coating. Interesting. Yeah, so Cartier are doing their thing. I mean, I quite like this. I quite like it. I know they do one with the bezel, which is DLC coated, and they keep the case steel. And I'm not a fan of that one. I'd much rather they do the whole watch DLC. But yeah, each to their own. I mean, there's a Santos for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I like it.
See what's next. Now, can you see what this one? This is a contentious point about DLC coating, and this is a Seamaster Diver black. They call it. It's a black ceramic.
I was going to say that.
Anthracite Super. Black PVD indices and anthracite superluminova, skeleton hands and a dot at 12 o'clock, caliber 8806 and black rubber strap. Now, I can't tell the time on this.
You're not the only one, I would say.
Now, this is an 8,000.
Sorry, back the truck up. Back the truck up. Did you just say anthracite loom?
Anthracite superluminova. Yeah.
Oh, so okay. So the thing glows in the dark with okay, that's interesting.
This may be the only watch which is better readable in the night than during the day.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I just can't tell the time on it. I mean, 8,100 pounds. This is. Now I can think of better ways of spending £8,000. To be honest with you.
Well, from a technical point of view, I find it fascinating in how many colors or color variants you can do luminova, even in this anthracite kind of black tone. So you can basically tone luminova into any color that you want, and this is just showing what is possible without a practical background. I think it's very important to point out. I think that is a ceramic case and a ceramic bezel insert, so there is no coating on it. So it may be quite durable unless you drop it on the bathroom floor.
Yeah. But I just can't tell the time. I mean, I don't know what they're playing at, to be honest with you. I mean, it's I don't know.
Well, it is. I'm not sure if you can approach it with a philosophical angle, so that you say, I'm so rich and I'm so cool and I'm so independent that I don't need to tell the time precisely. So I don't know. I don't get the concept of it. Visually, it's striking. It's unusual, but I certainly wouldn't be buying such a watch.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just having a look at some photos of the thing on the net. So from what I can see, and I'm not sure if it comes up well in the photos there, but the hands, like the hands are like a lot. They're black. They look a lot darker, right? And the dial is a more anthracite grey type of color. So I think maybe actually it's not that black. Yeah, no, forget what I just said. It's fucked. It's fucked.
And they made the hands skeleton hands as well, which is even worse. I mean,
yeah. What's the point? Yes. Mm-hmm. A very interesting watch with a black dial and black hands is the H. Moser Vanta Black. 1 second.
Yeah.
Better, because the black of this particular dial is so black that you have quite a good contrast versus the black hands. Black. 1 second. I try to find it. So Venturer Vanta Black. Let me pull that up. It is difficult to describe. You have to see this watch in real life. I have it here on the screen, Thomas, if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
So here, that is the Vanta Black, and that dial is so black. It is the blackest of the black because it consists of microtubes that basically sucks out any color of the light. And that dial is so black that the blackened hand can be relatively well read against that super black dial. And from this point of view, I think that this watch is pretty cool, which just shows what is possible and how cool that concept is. But if you have difficulties to read it, you can also have silver colored hands.
So the Vantablack had black hands.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they brought out. I was going to show later on, and I'll probably have to do it in the second show. But the Vantablack Streamliner, which was the bracelet was covered in Vantablack.
Oh, yeah.
The case is covered in Vantablack, and the
yeah.
that's just totally. I mean, Vantablack absorbs 99.9965% of light, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's bizarre. I mean, you can't even wear the watch; it's so fragile.
Yeah, but I find it super cool. I hope that they are doing a streamliner with a Vantablack dial in an affordable price range, and so I love Vantablack.
Yeah, I'm with you, Pocket Watch Sam. I like Vantablack dials, but I don't get the Vantablack whole watch being Vantablack.
But that is only a halo thing. Everybody knows that that you can't wear it because that surface is so fragile. If you make it dirty, or if you even touch it, it will destroy the nanotubes. So this is just a display piece to show the possibilities and to show the properties of the material. So nobody seriously thinks about covering a watch with Vantablack technology.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that Seamaster earlier on, which was illegible, and I just wanted to show this one as well by Omega, a Speedmaster. Now,
yeah, it makes it even more difficult with the chronograph hand then.
The Seamaster was £8,000. This is £11,000. The Speedmaster Moonwatch was ceramic case, nylon strap, a tribute to the accomplishments of the Apollo 8 astronauts, inspired by the dark side of the moon. It's not a dark side of the moon watch. It's just inspired by the dark side of the moon. It's using the 9300 caliber, and this I just don't get it. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I can see it better in that light a bit, but straight on, direct, you can starting to see a bit more grey in the ceramic there.
But now imagine this particular watch in the sunless 6 months in the UK. That must be great to wear.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you got great movement in a crappy watch. I couldn't do it.
The only thing I can think of with this is maybe like military personnel who want to have, when they're like crawling around on night missions and they don't want to have anything that you can see, like on your watch, like you can't even see the freaking watch at all. Maybe there's some small market of people that want to have something like this. I don't know. I'm scratching my head trying to think of who the hell would buy this thing. And that Seamaster as well. Like, fucking who's buying this stuff?
Can you show the movement again for a second, Thomas? Because I'm not the biggest Omega fan, and maybe I'm getting crucified here by you two. I'm not the biggest fan of Omega, and if you have a look at the movement, I just find that column wheel text just pathetic. I apologize, but this is just ridiculous.
Column wheel. Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah, just imagine you have the rotor and they're writing rotor on it.
Right. Yeah.
Or balance cock or whatever.
Yeah, the column wheel.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It's one of your pet peeves, is it, Jonathan?
Well, I have many pet peeves with Omega, but so this is only a minor one. But I'm just trying to point out how ridiculous some things are that Omega is doing, and a black watch with a black dial with black hands is certainly not the smartest idea, in my opinion.
No, definitely not. So
Dodger is already going after me, Thomas.
Yeah, what do you know?
Oh, we have Alex here in the.
There's a couple of different versions of that
Alex,
blacked out 9300. Hey, Alex. Yeah, there's a few. There's one that's got like a four patina type of loom as well, Thomas. So there's also one of those ones as well, just to throw it in the mix.
So move on.
But the original black ceramic Speedy though was the dark side of the moon, and that was pretty. Like when that came out,
I like the grey side of the moon. That's gorgeous. That's a really nice one.
Yeah. Well, when they brought the 9300 out, it sort of came out in the like they had a regular Speedy, but the big ticket Amiga was the dark side of the moon, and that was it was cool. The problem was with the 9300 caliber, it's fucking thick, and so it makes the watch ridiculously thick. I think it's like 14.7 or something like that overall. So I think I'm pretty sure that's probably why the 9300 hasn't done as well as Amiga would have wanted it to. It just made the watches too thick, unfortunately. But besides that, yeah, I mean the grey side's pretty cool. But yeah, they're just thick puppies.
Yeah. So bring up now IWC. This is the
There we go.
Pilot's watch, double chronograph, £12,800. This is a Top Gun Ceratanium. And Ceratanium is a new material based on titanium alloy that combines all the advantages of titanium and ceramic. Light and tough like titanium, but hard and scratch resistant like ceramic. Interesting.
Not that expensive, man. Jesus, why is it so much?
A lot of money, isn't it? It's a lot of money.
Yeah, but this is also the rattrapante. So you have to keep in mind this is
okay.
Yes, this is a more complicated movement, but the idea of ceratanium, in my opinion, is a good one because if you mix titanium with ceramic, you're avoiding the problem of the cracking and the brittleness. So I think this is a step ahead. Just like they say, they combine the scratch resistance with a lack of coating, and they avoid the disadvantages of ceramics, so being brittle.
Yeah, it's a nice watch. I mean, I like it. I do like it.
Yeah, that is a good looking piece, definitely.
But it's also huge. I think it's 44 and it's very thick as well. The rattrapante that has been developed by Habring in the previous version. I don't think that I'm not sure if that is still the old movement or if they updated it now. But it's a very thick movement with the rattrapante. It is an automatic chronograph with rattrapante.
Yeah, just check it.
I like the
44 mil.
I'm gonna say it's the Top Gun and the Big Pilot Top Gun perpetual calendar in ceramic. I think that's the IWC that I like, but I think
46.
it's like 47 mil or something.
Oh, yeah.
So it's fucking huge, but it looks so cool.
I love that Big Pilot perpetual calendar. There is a very cool variant with yellow orange patina, so with yellow orange loom. which I find very cool. That is a steel watch, if I remember correctly. Thomas, do you want me to pull that up? 1 second. IWC pilot.
Might be on here. Which
Okay,
one?
here we go.
Which one is it here?
No,
Is it
let me share the screen. Okay, got it. Can you go to my screen?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I find that one very cool. But also the one that JCB just mentioned with the ceramic case is beautiful. But just have a look at that.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Real cool.
And it has the proper year indicator there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite a bit too busy for me, this watch.
Well, it's a perpetual calendar with all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I do love the pilot's watch, though. Alex has got one of those.
The simple
virtual
one.
time. Yeah, he's got the standard big pilot's watch, and it's.
He has the one with the power reserve, doesn't he?
I've always loved the big pilot's watch. It's always been a great. It's an iconic watch. It's one that you walk past the jewelers, you see in the shop window, and it stands out immediately. It's like boom, this is a big watch. And you see it, and it's like wow, great, gorgeous watch. Yeah.
I reckon they did also. I reckon like they did a Mark 18 or a Mark 20 in ceramic as well, which is if you don't want that big, big pilot style and big size pilot style watch, you can go and have a look at the the more chilled out. I think it's like a blue ceramic or something. IWC as well. So they've got some different. There's some options if you don't want the big size ones. You can have a look at their. They've got some other options there as well.
Tom is saying they make a serotonin bracelet for it as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
Wow.
Alex telling me that it's his big pilot's watch is for sale now. So I don't have the money, I'm afraid, Alex. I'm scared. I'd love to.
Let me see.
Watch Sam says he's tempted by titanium if the promises are true. Yeah. It's light and tough like titanium, but hard and scratch resistant like ceramic. Yeah, interesting. So, move on.
Bill made a good joke. Can you pull that up? Question: what's worse than finding a worm in your apple?
Bill loves his jokes, doesn't he? Go on then, Bill. Christmas joke. Christmas cracker joke. What's worse than finding a worm in your apple? Finding half a worm. That's a Bill joke, isn't it?
That would be pretty mad. Oh man, where's this watch? Ceramic.
Do you want me to bring one up, JCB, or are you searching something?
Yeah, I'm just searching for something. It's I've found it, but I'm just trying to find a good photo of the thing. Just give me like 1 second.
Sure.
Just give me 1 second, and I'll pull it up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This one here. All right. Yeah. So.
So has anyone in the chat got any good plans for New Year's Eve? Doing anything good? Put it in the chat if you are. You got any? Did you get any nice watches for Christmas? Did you? You doing anything good for New Year's Eve? Got anything good planned?
Just getting on the juice.
Getting on the juice.
Look at this, man. This is a pretty cool little piece, I reckon.
That's nice. That.
Fuck, that's not bad. That one. I don't know much about it. I just remember I had it in my head. It's a black ceramic with blue dial. You know, and it's a Mark 18, so it's like going to be 40 or 41.
Yeah.
41 mil. Pretty, you know, it's not like, you know, you think of IWC, these big pilot watches, and they're big, but this one is a nice size. It'd be nice and thin. I think is one of the benefits of the, you know, the Mark 18, Mark 20 series is that it's quite slim. Pretty cool piece, I reckon. If you're looking for that blacked out look, you can have a look at this one as well. Probably going to be expensive being an IWC, but yeah, it's something to look at as well.
Super cool watch.
Pocket Watch says he's working for New Year's Eve, but his wife's going to the party. Oh, I'm sorry you got to work, Patrick. That's a shame. But I love what Chili Badger says he's doing. He's watching he's watching crappy on a loop and sticking his head in an air fryer.
Too funny.
Oh my god! Some people in this community, you know, you're really questioning yourself how those guys are wired.
Oh, brilliant, Chili! I love it. Oh, I love it. Oh. We got great community here, haven't we?
Yeah. No, Chili is always there when you need him and when you don't need him.
So this is one that you like, JCB. Zenith Defy Classic Carbon. This is on sale. It's got £3,000 off. It's on £7,100. It's a skeleton dial, 142 millimeters, carbon fiber, which is very durable. And you can see the carbon design. You can see these sort of swirls of carbon.
Forged carbon. The one. Well, the same watch actually comes on a full carbon bracelet as well. Okay.
Right.
But when I was messaging you during the week, what I was saying was that this piece on the bracelet, I think it's got to be one of the only full carbon pieces out there in the market at the moment, like full carbon bracelet, carbon case. Obviously, heaps of carbon cases out there, but not many watches on the carbon bracelet as well. I'll see if I can pull up a photo. But yeah, I think that's why I sort of like the piece really. It's because it's you know, it's got the carbon bracelet as well. I mean, you don't get that in many pieces. Yeah, here we go. I'll just pull up a quick pic, and you can see that. I'll share that one there. And come on, here we go. Yeah, full carbon. Now, look, it's not everyone's. It's not going to. Hey, JJ, what's going on? Yeah, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Carbon itself, I think, it's not everyone's cup of tea because of the way that it looks. Like it's got that, you know, mottled sort of, you know, look to it.
This is like camouflage.
Some people love it. It's like it's sort of Marmite, right? It's Marmite. You sort of either love it or hate it, I think.
Like a camouflage, isn't it? It's like a...
Yeah. But look at that, like the whole thing's out of forged carbon, which I think just that in itself is pretty cool. Like a technical feat to make a watch like that, I think is pretty cool. And like I said, I can't think of any other watch off the top of my head that's a
I think
full
the
carbon watch.
Octofinissimo that I was going to bring up later, but we'll have to do next time. The
Yeah.
Octofinissimo is full carbon as well. Carbon bracelet.
Look, I'm sure there is, you know, a couple out there. Yeah, I just, you know, I just don't have that much knowledge on it. But you know, the thing about, you know, it's yeah. So as a material, I think, as we were saying before, you know, super strong, super lightweight. You know, you could run over this thing with a tank and it would still hold up. Try doing that with a ceramic and it's not going to happen. So I think as from a material.
Statement piece, like Pocket Watch Time says, definitely.
Yeah. Now people freak out about these. Ooh.
Good evening,
hey,
Saad. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Saad is flattering.
A lot of people freak out with the a lot of people talk about the legibility of the Defy Classic skeleton, and it's like they're like, you can't see it, it's not very legible. But when you have it on the wrist in the metal, they're actually quite legible. It works. I think it's something to do with the way that they polish the hands. The light pops off them so that you can see the hands quite well in the metal. So yeah, it's pretty cool piece. So yeah, full carbon. So that's why I thought this would be a good one to look at, just because of the material. A lot of watches we look at are coated, you know, DLC, PVD, or even, you know, with AP, it's all ceramic, but not many you're going to see that are full carbon. So I thought it was just an interesting one to pull up.
Here's an interesting point from Saad. He says, I think that anything other than steel or precious metal is a non-serious watch material for me. I mean, yeah, fair point, Saad. I mean, each to their own. I mean,
yeah,
that's an interesting point. Yeah. Do you take blacked out watches seriously? Ones that are ceramic and carbon? Do you consider a watch to be made of metal?
You know, until maybe 15 years ago, the equation was a black watch was a kind of fashion or design watch. So there were not many horological merits into blackened watches, no matter what the watch was. But then Richard Mille, Uhrwerk, and all those fancy brands then started to black out watches, high value watches, high horology watches. So that all has changed since then. So I understand Saad's point of view, particularly because there is no Rolex in a black coating, and that may be an interesting point of discussion. Do we think that that we will ever see a black Rolex watch?
Possibly.
I don't think so. I don't think they're too conservative, aren't they? I don't think we'd ever see a.
But Thomas, you would have said the same 2 years ago about titanium, probably.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Are they going to put titanium into their 40mm watches? I mean, the Deep Sea Challenge is a off the wall, one of a kind piece, isn't it? It's not really a. I know it's in full production, but it's not really a realistic piece, is it? It's a bit of a outlier. It's not really.
I think they should. You would think that they would do something in ceramic, you know, because they're the masters of ceramic, as we know, doing the you know the buy. You know what I mean? Like that's a bit of their claim to fame, is having you know, the ceramic bezel. So maybe ceramic piece is not out of the question at all. I would have thought that maybe they're, you know, we might see 5 to 10 years from now they might bring out a ceramic case or something.
Yeah, true. Now here's one for Pocket Watch Time. I know he's got one of these, and this is one that I love. The Doxa Army. I've actually got my Synchron Military on at the moment, which is
Yeah, cool.
which is a homage to the Doctor Army.
That's carbon, isn't it? That one.
No, that
The Doctor Army is ceramic. It's ceramic.
That is ceramic, but they also make a carbon watch. And I urge you, Thomas, to show the carbon fiber as well, because in my opinion, that is even better.
It's titanium chamber for the movement. It's got a titanium chamber for the movement.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Swiss Army Elite Divers Unit issued watch, limited to 100 pieces. This is the Watches of Switzerland edition, and a threaded titanium case back. And you want me to bring up which one, Jonathan?
The Doxa carbon watch, the 300.
300 carbon. Yeah.
Doxa 300 carbon.
So this one.
Let's look for white pearl. Doxa carbon white pearl. There you go. And that also has the titanium container for the movement, and then the shoulders made out of carbon fiber, also the bezel. It's also forged carbon, so a random structure. Beautiful, that watch.
You've got this one, haven't you,
yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's Marcelo's fault, because Marcelo approached me and I told him this is a better deal. He didn't buy it, but then I bought it because I was so convinced of my own talk that that I had to get it.
Yeah, and Pocket Watch Time says it was his first sort of blackened out watch. It's a
How happy are
watch.
you with it, Pocket Watch?
Do you like it, Pocket Watch Time? Are you happy with it? Good to see you, Bill. He says, Jonathan Quell Higgins is right. Carbon is great. I'm just a sucker for limited editions.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
And I think the ceramic is also significantly cheaper than the carbon one, isn't it? How much was the ceramic?
The ceramic one was 4,050.
Oh, then it's more expensive than the carbon fiber.
More expensive. Okay. This one's 3,790. So just a touch under. So nice watch though. I like this white pearl. I like the Army one better though myself. I'm more fan of the Doctor Army. But yeah, Docs are doing ceramic and carbon. So they're touching on two black materials. Yeah, it's good. It's interesting. I didn't realize they're dabbling in both materials. So this one's a really good one. I think it's a good value, and it's a ceramic watch. It's £3,840, and it's a Tudor ceramic. It's using an in-house caliber movement, of course. They're MT5602, 70 hours power reserve, anti-magnetic to 15,000 Gauss, of course, COSC certified, and it's £3,840. And I think this is quite a good value one. This one, the Tudor ceramic. I quite like it.
I agree, and you can see that that a subsidiary of Rolex is already working on blackout watches. So I would never say never that we see a Rolex in black.
Possibly,
one day.
Yeah. So sad, we may see a blacked out Rolex. So would that change your mind, Sard? Interesting. Would that change your mind about blacked out watches and them not steel watches being the only form of a real watch. Would that change your mind? Put that in a comment.
Well, the problem with a ceramic watch is that it's also significantly lighter compared to a steel watch. And I think Saad said on one of the streams that he doesn't like light watches, which is also then a negative in his opinion, and it's totally understandable. I don't associate light watches with cheap watches, but some people do. I know that happens. So yeah, that may be another issue.
Morning, Orange Hand. Good to see you. Have we covered the Higher Monaco Dark Lord yet? I think they just made a tribute to the original from the 70s. We haven't, no. Can one of you pull that up? The Higher Monaco Dark Lord.
Yeah, man, that's a cool watch. Fucking hell.
Pocket Watch Time says he wasn't impressed with the Tudor. The bezel has DLC coating bezel and some sorts, and it was scratched. Oh, so well, obviously not a good pick then.
Yeah, that is. We covered that at the beginning. It is what it is. A coating is a coating, and it wears off. And I have this Porsche design watch that we will cover a little bit later, the re-edition with diamond-like coating, diamond-like carbon coating, and it wears off on the corners. In the meantime, I found a different approach to it, because if you look at the watch here, it's very sterile, very, very pure, very streamlined. And when the coating is wearing slightly off, it gives a warmer touch to the watch. And to be honest, you can offer me a brand new Porsche design watch to trade against the one that I wore now for a year, and where the coating is slightly wearing off. I will keep the watch with my kind of wear marks, with my kind of little damages that I did to the watch, because I think it gains a little bit character. Totally black is a little bit boring, and it looks super new and very how do you say, too clean in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the NATO strap on that Tudor as well. Just one thing Tudor do quite nicely. They do NATOs. I like the NATO on the 925 silver one as well. Yeah, lovely.
I was looking for the word sterile, by the way.
Just bring up this, the Tag Heuer Monaco Dark Lord. Wow. So this is the one you were talking about, Orange Hand.
Yeah, that's the one.
Heuer Monaco Dark Lord. It's a tribute to the original from the 70s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The originals, I don't know what the value, but I know they're really sought after collector's pieces. Those original Dark Lords, big money for the original ones.
Really?
Oh yeah. Look at this, man. Beautiful. That's just unreal. That just killed it. Amazing piece.
Just another Christmas cracker
joke. So this one's a DLC titanium.
Another Christmas cracker joke from Bill. What did the snowman say to the other snowman? Do you smell carrots? It's the Christmas cracker show here. We love it, Bill. Yes. So you were saying, JCB, about this Dark Lord?
I was just reading here. So it's a DLC covered titanium case. So yeah, pretty cool piece.
I think it's the same issue, just like the Porsche design. The original Dark Lord had a very bad coating, and it's good to see that they updated the technology now and make it more durable and better to really enjoy. Sorry for interrupting you, JCB.
You guys,
We've even got a trailer.
can you hear
a
that
movie.
sound on the video?
Can't hear the sound.
I can't hear it.
No.
Can't hear. Okay, cool. Okay, good.
There it is.
Watch this fucking douchebag. What the hell? What the fuck? Idiots. What sort of video is that? Anyway, let's see some pictures. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that good call, Orange. Yeah, this is a sick watch, man. Really cool piece.
Thomas, can you please time out Dodger for that nasty comment that he just made?
Lord.
Because that is a dig on the Swiss and John show that we don't have humor. So please time him out for 5 minutes.
So
we love the Swiss and John show, and if anybody hasn't seen it in the chat, tune into the Swiss and John show. It's a really good show on a Saturday. So that'll be on tomorrow. Are you doing a show tomorrow, Christmas Eve show, John?
No, I haven't been in touch with Swiss for more than 2 weeks. I've reminded him of this particular show. He didn't reply. So I have no idea what is going on. I guess that he's drunk and full of Swiss
Christmas
raclette
spirit.
somewhere.
Christmas spirit.
Yeah, probably he snowed in his chalet with 2 blonde girls. So I don't know what is going on. So tomorrow definitely no show until I'm doing a spontaneous get together just with a couple of friends.
Hi Abdul, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey,
yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, we're just discussing this Tag Monaco DLC. Just coming up to the end of our roundup.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, Orange mentioned this one. It's a cool piece. Very nice
really
watch.
Nice one.
All right,
yeah,
we'll kill that one.
I'll move on then to some. We had the Tudor. You just missed the Tudor, Abdul.
Oh,
you like the Tudor, didn't you?
Yeah, I really like that one. I'm thinking about getting it next year, sometime mid next year. That carbon case one. Yeah, that's the one.
You think about
ceramic?
Getting one of these? You think about getting one of these, though? Really?
Yes.
What draws you to it? What lures you to it?
I really like the Black Bay in general. I sold mine last year because I wanted to free up some funds for Lorique, for the watch that I got or still getting. And I don't have a really nice diver in my collection. I think, and I don't have a carbon case as well, or sorry, ceramic case. So I thought, yeah, why not get 2 in 1? Have a ceramic diver. I'm not usually the guy that like watches fall off the ground from me, but I usually scratch it in keyboards and tables and stuff like that. So I thought that might be something that would help me, let's say, have less scratches on the watch if it's a ceramic case.
Yeah, it's a nice one. I like it. Yeah. So we'll press on. What have we got next? I've got a feeling we're going into Panerai territory now. So,
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
sure.
I'm not avoiding Panerai. I'll be back.
So this is a Panerai PAM 779 Luminor California DLC, California dial, DLC coated titanium case, hand-wound movement with 8 days power reserve on a bund strap or cuff strap as they call it, made of supple leather, 44 millimeters. I can't get the pictures any bigger, I don't think. But I really like the California dial on this.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest picture I'm gonna get. But yeah, I really like the California dial. I quite like the bund strap as well, to be honest with you. But this is Panerai doing Panerai doing DLC. I mean, Panerai do all the different black tar options, as we'll see. But,
yeah, I was going to say they do ceramic, they do carbon as well.
yeah.
Yeah, they've got their materials down.
Yeah, for me, this case shape is the typical. Like, when I think about Panerai, I think about this case shape with this crown system that they have, and
The
the
Luminor,
California
yeah.
dial. Yeah, the Luminor, exactly, and the California dial gives it really a cool, let's say, vintage inspired look with the Bund strap. It feels like a Flieger, but it's actually a diver. But I really like it. I'm not a big fan of Panerai, but this one does really something to me. Yeah.
I like the blue hands too.
Pocket Watch Time saying I have a Zin 050 Pro on order. U50, sorry, Pro on order. Yeah, wasn't too happy that the bezel's DLC coated. However, they claim it's extra resistant to the tegmented steel. Oh.
Yeah, Sin uses this tegmented steel. And yeah, the Sin is one of the brands that I believe them when they say something, because really they do put their money where their mouth is. They
Well,
they
the
do offer,
CEO is an engineer.
yeah, they offer great quality for good prices.
Yeah. So this is a Panerai DLC coated one. One that I love. I'd love to get this one. But it's discontinued now. £7,300, which I don't have.
Can I be controversial? I hate those Bund straps. To me, it is just like those protective silicon things that you can put on watches to protect them. I know the reason why they made it, because in old aviation cockpit it has been too cold and the watch would be too cold and so on and so on. So I know the reason why, but I don't like them visually.
Yeah. Yeah, very 1970s, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with Jonathan. I reckon the only time I'll wear a Bund strap is when I've got a Paul Newman Daytona strapped onto it.
Yeah.
But on a normal strap, on a sailcloth strap or a rubber or whatever, this watch for sure looks amazing. It is just the Bund strap that I don't like.
Well, we'll get rid of that one because you don't like the Bund strap.
No, don't follow my opinion. I can live with disagreements.
Move on to another Panerai, which is a ceramic one. Now this is
Thomas, can you move me down, because the guys have the camera on, so I think they should be moved up. You're covering them with comments, so just move my avatar down. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is a Panerai PAM 643 Redimir Ceramica, £7,200. It's a high-tech ceramic case made of zirconium oxide, which begins as a powder that is pressed to give the watch extreme hardness, superseding that of stainless steel by 5 times. It's got a black hobnail effect dial with applied luminous numerals, hand-wound 46 hours power reserve, 45 millimeters. I quite like the dial, the hobnail dial.
What material are the lugs? Is that
just gonna ask that?
I was fucking just about to ask
that.
Sorry. Yeah, interesting. I don't know.
Because I don't think that those are. No, they can't be ceramic. They will be too brittle. But the problem is, if they are steel, you have to fix them somehow into the ceramic, which may be then problematic. So I'm not a fan of those Radiomir lugs in general, but I think they're totally out of place on this particular.
Yeah, the lugs can't be ceramic, can they? They'd be too fragile. They'd break straight away. They have to be. You can see where they're screwed in here. They have to be metal. They'll be DLC coated metal. They're screwed in there. Yeah.
I think the only thing that always made me afraid of buying a ceramic watch was the pictures of people posting their ceramic watch completely destroyed, or shattered after they dropped it on some kind of concrete or something like that. And I'm like, oh, that would hurt definitely. Because let's say, worst case scenario, you took a diver's watch and you left the crown open while swimming, you have to change the whole movement. But if you break the case, you basically have to buy a new watch there. That's really...
And that's a whole nother level of pain. That's not just getting a new movement. Like a new ceramic case is like, that's like the main cost of the watch, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the ceramic Panerai. And we'll move on to, as we said, they do all the materials in black. We'll move on to their famous Carbotech, which is...
I like the carbon one. It's like cut with black with blue accents, maybe. That's the one.
Yeah, this is the PAM 1616 submersible Carbotech. £16,000. That hurts a lot. 47 millimeters.
Kick in the net.
This says thin sheets of carbon fibers are compressed under controlled high temperature, making it strong and durable. So that's how they make their Carbotech, apparently. It's a self-winding P9010 caliber with 3 days power reserve, 300 meters water resistance, black, and now I can't pronounce this rubber, black CAOUTCHOUC.
Kachuk or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, a lot of trouble with that one. Alright, Tom, me too. Yeah, I don't know either.
And Carbotech is one of Panerai's proprietary materials. So it's they're very into this Carbotech. I want to know, is the case back Carbotech as well, or is that steel?
Good question. Maybe titanium even. Right.
Or titanium, yeah.
It doesn't look like it, does it? Because it doesn't have that texturing to it.
Yeah, just gonna say.
Yeah, you can't see any sort of layers or swirls on it, can you? You can't see any.
Yeah, you would normally see that. So, I'm with Abdul. Probably titanium. I would bet on.
Yeah. So they're cheating, really. They're not giving you full Carbotech. I mean, you see here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You see here the swirls on the carbon.
I prefer that. No, it's the one I like is the Luminor Carbotech, not this submersible one. They do a Luminor as well. It's a bit more chilled. Yeah.
What I like on this particular watch is the sailcloth strap with the blue stitching. That is what I like most. Can you go to the other variant that you just showed, Thomas?
What, the ceramic?
This particular watch you just showed with the sailcloth strap.
Oh, with the sailcloth strap, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Panerai was one of the first ones to start the strap revolution, let's say, right? Hey, Y2K.
Hi, Y2K. Good to see you. Hope you and Mrs. Y2K are well. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah.
Do you guys ever think? Do you ever think Panerai will come back to the to the heights that it used to be. Around sort of the early 2000s or mid 2000s, even Panerai was the it brand, and then it just fucking fell off a cliff. Do you ever think that it's ever going to get back to where it once was?
Well, they were elevated by the big watch fad, weren't they? They were elevated to the position they're in now by the big watch fad, and then they fell because the big watch fad
Kind of fell away.
fell away. Yeah, I mean, you had Panerai, then you had the Royal Oak offshores getting really big, and that was around the sort of 2000s, just the millennium year, that sort of time. Late 90s, early 2000s. You had that fad of huge watches. And,
Yeah, I think it was a unique combination of being very unique with this crown guard solution, also the big sizes. The problem is in 1995, that was something new. But now you have all the big brands go big case, having fancy case shapes and so on. And additionally, Panerai really managed to piss off some of their very loyal customers with the shenanigans that were going on with the movement finishing, with the behavior that they showed, which was very Italian to be polite. And I'm not sure if they are able to recover, because Panaristi used to be fanatical, and to upset those is a skill, and certainly Panerai CEOs managed to achieve that goal. And I'm not sure if it can be ever back now that the market also has moved. Just like I said, many watch companies offer those huge sizes, fancy materials, crazy solutions.
Yeah.
So I think the train has left the station, and there is no way back for Panerai.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
I think you're right,
I think
Jonathan.
you put your finger exactly on the point. Pissed up their fan base. They started releasing diver watches with 30 meters water resistant, which is ridiculous, and smaller cases to suit up everybody, which is not the idea about the watch behind it. It was a rugged watch that is cheap, affordable, and at the same time could do everything you're doing, diving, doing like activities like usually people taking it to hell and back, let's say. And I think with the new models and putting up their prices and like the shenanigans they did, that the movement, this is our in-house movement, and it comes out it's not, or they put a case back with a picture of a bridge on it, and the movement inside is just horrible. It feels like you're getting cheated up every time. And then I do think they might get back when the people, the Panaristas, their kids are old enough, 30s, let's say, and they are like reminiscent of the past, and they want to buy back Panerai, and Panerai does some release that's just back to basics with cheap watch, affordable, going back to the basics.
Yeah, Alex is asking, what do you mean by they're very Italian?
I'm not going that slippery slope. I think Abdul mentioned some shenanigans, and I meant those. That the Italians are very smooth sometimes with the facts that they present. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Pocket Watch Time says Panerai needs to up their quality and lower their crazy prices to make a comeback. I agree there, Pocket Watch Time, definitely. I mean, this for £16,000 is absurd. I mean, they really thought there was something. They really think there's something. They really think they're a huge company. They're elevated to some sort of Rolex level, and they need to tone it down a bit. I think you're right, definitely. And with just another Christmas cracker joke from Bill, why wouldn't the pony sing a lullaby?
Why couldn't the pony?
Why couldn't the pony sing a lullaby? She was a little horse. We love you, Bill.
Dad, we should call him Dad Joke Bill.
That joke, Bill, exactly.
I sort of feel like with Panerai they need to bring out a whole new watch, a whole new design, because everything's just stale now. Everything's stagnant. You got the Luminor, the Radio Mirror, and the submersible. Let's put the submersible to the side. You really got two model lines. You got the Luminor and the Radio Mirror, and they've got a million fucking variants of each one of them. I sort of feel like they need to do an AP and bring out a new watch, but don't fuck it up like AP did. Actually, bring out something good to bring people back to the brand. I sort of feel like they need to do something like that to get back some interest back into the brand, maybe.
So, Jonathan, on to your speciality.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Design, born in 1972, redefined in 2022. The launch of the Chronograph 1 all black numbered edition by Porsche Design follows the sold-out limited anniversary edition of the celebrated classic design. Made at Porsche Design to own watch manufacturing facility.
Yes.
The sapphire case back reveals the iconic Porsche Design winding rotor, which is black. Double-sided 7-layer sapphire with hard coating ensures optimal readability. The caliber Porsche Design caliber work 140 chronograph Tag und Datumsanzeige.
Tag und Datumsanzeige, display of day and date.
Yeah, thank you. I butchered that. And the IWC and De Turner supplied the movements for a lot of Porsche Design watches in the past, haven't they?
Yeah. So can I recapture the history of Porsche Design watches in a minute?
Go for it.
So the head behind all this is Ferdinand Alexander Porsche. So in the Porsche family, all the firstborn males have Ferdinand as their first name. So it's quite confusing. So Ferdinand Alexander Porsche is the son, if I know it correctly, of the founder Porsche. And there was, in the 1970s, there was an agreement that no Porsche family member was allowed to be in the board of the Porsche company anymore. And Ferdinand Alexander Porsche, who designed the Porsche 911, he left the company because of that ruling, and he founded his own design studio in Austria, in Zell am See. And his first commercial product that he made was this particular chronograph back in 1972. And like I said previously, it was the first full black watch with a full black case and with a full black bracelet, also with the dashboard design, with the red hand, which converts to the how do you say, what is the instrument in the car, the rev meter? Is it called the rev meter?
Speedometer.
No, it's not. It's not tachometer. It is how high the engine revs.
Right. Okay.
Because the problem is if you're driving a sports car and you drive it hard, you focus on the street, but you have also to focus on the engine, because if you spin it too high, then you destroy the engine. So you better make sure that you don't over rev it before shifting to the next gear. So that is why that rev meter has a red hand, because usually you're focused on the street, and that you can see it in the blink of an eye where your engine is. So that is the background. So in 1972, Ferdinand Alexander Porsche came up with the black Porsche Design chronograph. It was manufactured by a company called Olfina, and it had the brand new Valjoux 7750 movement inside. Just like I said before, it was a steel case, sometimes brass, with a very cheap bracelet. 1 second, I'm trying to find the image again that I showed.
I remember the Orfina one. That was the one worn in Top Gun, wasn't it, by Tom Cruise?
Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Orfina.
Yes. So Orfina was the manufacturer. And Orfina produced those watches for a very long time. But they had to move from the 7750 to the Lemania 5100 very soon after, because Valjoux didn't produce the movement anymore. So they had to make slight changes. Here is an old. Can you pull the old one up again? That I.
Oh yeah, just bear with me.
Okay, here's an old one made by Orfina. Sometimes you found the Orfina logo there on. From this watch, you can see that it has the later Lemania 5100, because the counter on the top, it counts 24 hours, and the Valjoux is only counting half an hour. So that is the differentiating factor. Just like I said, the coating was crap. And look at the bracelet, how cheap that is. It is basically rolled metal with 2 pins.
That's fucking
that's
nasty,
all.
man. Oh.
Yeah, it's a nasty bracelet, but that was the state of the technology back then. But the design was timeless and classic, and in the
the design, like that was his first design.
Yes.
Like his first watch design.
Yes.
He nailed it. That's so good.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is a timeless classic. And in 1978, he started to make a cooperation with IWC. What you have to know is IWC back in 1978, they came out of the quartz crisis. They made super boring, super conservative watches that nobody really wanted. And the cooperation with Porsche Design was giving them fresh air, young blood, and it revived the IWC company to a big deal that helped IWC to get to the position that they're today, back in the 1970s, late 1970s. By the way, the mastermind between the cooperation between Porsche and IWC was a guy named Günter Blümlein, who was in charge for IWC, for Gégé de Kult, and later for Lange & Söhne, the legendary manager who founded, who revitalized Lange & Söhne together with Walter Lange. So it was Günter Blümlein's idea to cooperate with Porsche Design, and that cooperation was a very long time. They made the first watches in titanium. They had a watch with a compass. They made a super cool diving watch. So the cooperation between IWC and Porsche was really successful, until Porsche bought a watch company called Eterna. So the Porsche design company bought Eterna, and for the next decade, Eterna was then supplying Porsche Design with Eterna movements, and they were manufacturing them.
They bought.
So then,
interesting.
And then a couple of years ago, Eterna was sold, and Porsche Design went together with the Porsche car company. So for now, Porsche Design belongs to Porsche, and they have their own manufacturer in Solothurn in Switzerland.
Right, interesting. So they're producing this caliber work.
It is a modified 7750, modified by a company called Concepto, and the manufacturer is using those movements.
Happy New Year, JJ. Great to see you. Great to see you. Have a great New Year, my friend. Happy 2023. We'll see you next year. Yeah, take care.
Yeah. So last year was the 50th anniversary of this particular watch, and I was so happy to see that Porsche reissued this particular watch, but in titanium with a DLC coating, so with much better quality. And I was so super excited about this watch. I had to get it. I got it in February, and I've worn it every day ever since. This became my favorite watch. All my Rolex watches are stored away in the bank safe. I barely wore my Lange watches. I'm only wearing this bloody Porsche design watch because I love it really much.
I want one. It's so
really
cool.
cool.
I fucking want one bad. It's so good. Just looking at that thing, it's unreal.
It's got the black rotor in the back, and
yes, you have to be honest. This is the 2023 variant. This is not 100% faithful to the old one because you can see a small logo, chronometer certified, below the Porsche design logo, which is a little bit of a distraction. The problem is they made the reissue, the faithful reissue last year, limited edition of 500, and they're not remaking the same watch again. So they have to twist and tweak a little bit to be faithful to those who bought those 500 pieces limited edition.
Right.
So they have now a transparent caseback, which is pretty cool, and you can see that it's not a standard 7750. They put some effort into decoration and coating of movement parts. So it is a improved 7750. But this is another edition which is not 100% faithful to the old one.
Right. It's interesting that they're sort of making their own version of the 7750.
Well, it is Concepto. It is a company called Concepto who modify them for Porsche.
Right. Okay.
It's a Swiss company called Concepto.
It's a lovely watch, really nice. So this was sort of basically the first black watch.
It is the re-edition of the first black watch, but now in titanium with a DLC coating, which is quite durable, but it's not invincible. So on the edges of the lux, my coating wears off slightly, and you can see some little blemishes in the coating. So it's not perfect anymore. However, I prefer it that way because it shows a little bit more life than the sterile, perfectly black watch that you see here.
It's come full circle. Amazing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Brilliant. I love it.
I'm still getting excited when I see this particular watch.
Yeah, that's what makes it worth it, right? Because it's all about how watches excite us and makes us emotional about them. And definitely,
yeah, but it's crazy, usually I'm talking about anglage and Côte de Genève and movement finishing and hand craftsmanship and everything like that. But this watch stole my heart, and that's really crazy.
Yeah.
So Tom says that limited production of 1,000 of the 2023. That is correct. So this watch and the following years, their plan is to make 1,000 each year of this. The reason behind is, I think Porsche doesn't want to become a one-trick pony just like AP. There is a huge demand for this classical watch. But I think Porsche design wants to progress further. They want to move on. They don't want to put their destiny into a 50-year-old watch design. So in my opinion, they deliberately limit themselves to the old design with a number of 500 per year. That is my explanation why they do this.
We've got a question from Loose Tooth as well. Are you a fan of the green and grey PVD versions of the older Porsche design?
Yes and no, because they are not PVD. Just like I said, they are powder coated. So if it would be PVD, it would be nice. They made this watch also with an olive green coating, but the problem is still the same, that those old coatings are terrible. And the problem is there are many vintage watches out there. I've just showed you one that are in terrible shape. So if you leave them like that, they look horrible. What is even worse is when people are trying to restore them. because then they blast off the old coating, which then makes all the edges and case shapes soft, and then they recoat it. But the watch looks then like crap because it lost all the edges and angles.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, if you leave them like that, they look awful because of that bad quality. And if you restore them, you can see that they have been retouched and they don't carry the beautiful design anymore.
Sure.
Just can't get over how good the design of this watch is. Really, like it's timeless. Like
Yes.
it came out 50 years ago,
50
and
years,
looking
yeah.
at it now on the screen, it's like it just came out yesterday. And in 10 years, 20 years from now, you'd say it just came out yesterday as well. Like it's just, like I said, he nailed it. Like that design is so good. Really cool piece.
Yeah, it really is.
I just had a look at the price though, it sort of gave me a little bit of a heart attack.
Yes, they're getting more and more expensive now. Yes, I think it's 9,000 euros now, isn't it?
9,000 euros. Yeah.
Yeah, the old limited edition was 7. So, but that didn't have the transparent case back. Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I used to collect Lemania 5100 pieces. And I had like a couple of pieces from Bundeswehr, the German military, that had the same design, but in some kind of brushed steel case or some kind of metal case. And they were pretty cheap, like 400 euros, 500 euros. And I got one. I remember that the most expensive one I got with the Lemania was like 1,000 euros. And I sold them all afterwards. There was one guy that was collecting every 5,100 Lemania that he could find. And I sold everything to him for a good sum. But after that, I really missed this Lemania 5000. Yeah, it's really a good workhorse.
Lucy collects those as well. He loves the 5100 movement.
Yeah,
he's a great one. Yeah, so I've got 15 more watches, so I think we'll make another show of this, and we'll do the next show. We'll carry on with some more black watches because we've been going 2 hours so far, so it will probably be a 4-hour show if we carry on. So we'll have another Christmas joke from Bill. What kind of nut has no shell? A donut, of course. We love you, Bill. We love you. So, yeah.
It was like, not a dad joke. That was like a grandpa joke. Nah, just kidding, Bill. Love your jokes, Bill.
Yeah, so if you can give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and everyone, what more can we say? Have a brilliant New Year, and have a great New Year's Eve, and a brilliant 2023. And I hope you all had a brilliant Christmas. I hope you all got what you wanted, and whether it be gifts or, I know Vu had a wonderful Christmas present, meeting JL, and that was a wonderful story. And just have a great time. I don't know whether anyone else wants to add anything.
Thomas, thank you very much for running that show and for giving us the opportunity to talk about watches, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, Thomas, to you as well, and also just to the guys in the chat watching the show. Thank you for sticking around and chiming in. It's good to chat with you guys and to interact with everyone. And this is what we love doing. We love talking watches. So the more people that get involved, the better. And thanks for 2022, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 23.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you next time, guys. So
same here.
Yeah. So I'll just take that off, and We look forward to seeing you next time, guys, and in the next show. And peace be with you, and Happy New Year. Yeah,
Happy New Year.
great one.
Cheers.
Happy New Year, everybody. Stay
care.
safe, stay
New Year.
healthy.
Bye-bye.
Have a great one.
We'll see you in the
Bye-bye.
next one. Take care, everyone.